This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Hello, football fans, and welcome to The Onside Kick. My name is Ricky Widmer, and as always, I'm joined by the Mark Weber.
Dub them ease.
And Mark, today on the podcast, we're going to do something special, and this is going to go on from now until I want to say the beginning of August. Each week on the Onside Kick, we're going to take a division, the same division that will correlate with our videos of team previews leading up to the NFL season. And this week, it's the AFC East Preview for 2015.
Some would say AFC least.
The AFC least? They just only have the Super Bowl champion within their division.
And what else they got? What else they got?
Rex Ryan he stayed in the division.
He did.
He has a
wanted
different
to play
color.
for a bit of a rival. He likes the way he looks in blue as opposed to green.
And he likes driving a blue truck, apparently.
Yeah, Rex Ryan's funny because he still has... Well, I don't know. I don't think he still has it. I think he changed it, right?
The tattoo. The Mark Sanchez tattoo.
Yeah, Mark Sanchez tattoo.
He changed it to, I want to say it was the Bills punter because that was the same number.
Mm-hmm. They look enough alike. It's fine.
Like, I get it, but it was like, okay. I think the tattoo's of his wife, too.
But he has a tattoo of his wife.
But she was in a Mark Sanchez jersey.
Why would anyone want to wear a Mark Sanchez jersey?
I don't know. I mean, I guess at the time, because wasn't that around the same time that they went to, 3 back-to-back AFC championship games?
I believe
that was when they were on the hot streak.
I believe it was like right after that when they immediately started to not be good anymore, and then it became funny.
I want to say he got the tattoo during that time.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
So here's what we're going to do on this podcast. We're kind of going to talk about each of the 4 teams, not in depth, because we're going to leave that to our team preview videos, but kind of talk about who we think has had the best offseason, who looks the best coming in to this season. And I feel like with this division in particular, we have to just talk about this question first off is, out of the 3 teams not wearing a Super Bowl ring from last season. Well, I guess the Patriots haven't had their ring yet, but they will. They are Super Bowl champions. Which team has the best chance to win the division in 2015 that did not last year? The Bills, the Dolphins, or the Jets?
This is such a hard question because honestly,
it's a loaded question.
The answer is essentially nobody. But I would have to probably go with the Dolphins.
You say that kind of like, well, I guess I gotta pick the Dolphins.
Exactly. I mean,
question mark at the end.
The Dolphins do have Ndamukong Suh, helps out a ton. They of course got Devontae Parker in the first round. That's somebody to throw the ball to because there's got to be somebody out there. And there some of the articles now, ESPN for example, is talking about like the Dolphins have more depth than you think. And I will refuse to believe that until I see it. I refuse to see as much good about the receiving core of the Dolphins until they start playing some games. And maybe part of it will be hindered or helped out by Tannehill and his play after getting his big contract. But I'm not super convinced. I mean, the defense is what's going to be good about the Miami Dolphins. The rest just has to be average, and they can possibly squeeze into a wild card.
I'm looking right now. I'm saying the Dolphins as well, but I'm saying more of a solid answer. Not like, Mark, I guess. No, it's the Dolphins have the best chance this season to knock off the Patriots as the AFC East division winners in 2015. And reason being is, you said it, they go out and they get Ndamukong Suh to fill up that defensive line, maybe get after Tom Brady, maybe stop some of the running backs that you're going to see, especially with Buffalo, because Buffalo's got LaShawn McCoy now.
Oh, yeah.
I know he's not a ground and pounder right up the middle, but
he's going to get yards, though.
If you got Ndamukong Suh there right in the middle of the line, that forces McCoy to the outside. They also got Jordan Cameron and Greg Jennings, where, I mean, Greg Jennings and maybe Jordan Cameron, you may be sitting there going, well, Ricky, that's not the best of additions, but those are 2 options that now Ryan Tannehill can throw to. Because I feel like with the Dolphins, and it kind of goes for every team, not New England, the most important aspect to your season is how is your quarterback going to perform. Tannehill, I think for the Bills it's EJ Manuel. That may change. And then it's Geno Smith in New York.
That's a question mark of how long is Geno Smith going to play.
Or is it Matt Castle? Because he's back in town in Buffalo, too.
Yeah, we do have to mention, of course, Geno Smith, as of on Tuesday the 9th, threw 3 interceptions, 2 of which in the red zone. These things happen, but it's just one of those... it's not good. It's not confidence building. This is a guy who really needs some confidence coming into this coming season. I do want to say one thing regarding our last kind of conversation with the Buffalo Bills, because I know there's some people out there saying, hey, we're talking about the next up. The Buffalo Bills were second in the AFC East last year. They're the next up. And, of course, with LaShawn McCoy, I think that's definitely an improvement.
Well, and not just that. They've got now Percy Harvin at the wide receiver position. They even picked up tight end Charles Clay, who used to spend his time in Miami.
Yeah, so, I mean, they do have good stuff in Buffalo. I just think for Buffalo, the question mark of the quarterback position is a lot greater because you don't have, not that Ryan Tannehill's anything phenomenal, but he's very solid. Here you have, like you said, EJ Manuel or Matt Castle, and that's it. I mean, those are your 2 options. Matt Castle didn't do anything for you the last time he played for your team, so I don't know what you expect out of him this time. And, of course, when he left Buffalo, he did okay for various teams, but was never able to really secure a job. So you don't feel happy right now if you're a Buffalo Bill fan.
Well, if I'm Buffalo, I am feeling more confident with Matt Castle than EJ Manuel because Rex Ryan, we all know he's a defensive guy. His defense, maybe in a year or 2, is going to be a stout defense in Buffalo, or it's going to be a good enough defense to where you can say, okay, I respect them. I respect that defense. However, Tom Brady's still going to slay it like a knight slays a dragon.
Of course, yeah.
However, if you look at when he was with New York, who did he have the best success with? Mark Sanchez early on. And which quarterback fits the Mark Sanchez mold a little bit more? It's the pocket passing Matt Castle and not the I was a mobile quarterback EJ Manuel.
And, of course, he did do the LaShawn McCoy trade, which gets him that running back. Because
that's going to help.
Yeah, the running back scenario is really what drove the New York Jets to those AFC Championship games that they had. Those back-to-backs.
Well, he likes to run the ball.
Yeah, exactly. And you need someone like this to do it. I mean, like you said before, not ground and pound, but you're not going to stop LaShawn McCoy from getting yards. He will get yards. Teams just have to try and limit him and the amount of yards you can get. The problem for any of these teams, of course, and the Buffalo Bills, I think especially, you probably won't. The defenses aren't, besides maybe Ndamukong Suh, are not good enough to stop Tom Brady yet. And then your quarterbacks are not going to keep up with Tom Brady. The only one who has a chance to keep up with Tom Brady, maybe Ryan Tannehill. I know Sammy Watkins is over in Buffalo land right now. You feel good about that. But I don't think the quarterback play is as strong as Ryan Tannehill's is going to be.
Well, and I mean, the one thing I find interesting, and this goes with more of the Jets and the Bills, when they got their 2 new head coaches, Rex Ryan and Todd Bowles, who came over from Arizona, who's with the New York Jets, both of those teams went with defensive philosophy coaches. And to me, I wonder if that's a decision of, we got to stop Tom Brady. When Tom Brady leaves, we might have to stop the next heir apparent, Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, and I mean, I think, of course, Tom Brady is phenomenal. We got no question about that.
Hall of Famer.
But Bill Belichick is still going to be there, assumedly, after Tom Brady leaves. So that system doesn't go away. It's still going to be there. We assume it's going to be good. We assume it's not just Tom Brady, because they've played fine in the few times that Tom Brady hasn't been there. So I see no reason why it would go away. You do want to go with that defense. That's the only way you're going to win this division. But you do need somebody who can throw some touchdowns, because you know you're not going to stop Tom Brady from throwing touchdowns.
And I just wanted to stat correct myself, the Rex Ryan AFC Championships was 2 in a row, not 3 in a row.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in regards to that. But with that being said, are the Patriots really going to not win this division? Even if the Patriots lose all 4 games, because surprise to all the world, I'm not being sarcastic, surprise to the world, Jimmy Garoppolo was absolutely terrible. And they lose to the Steelers, the Bills, the Jaguars, and the Cowboys. Well, they can still win with only having 4 games lost. Well, they lost 4 last year.
I'm looking up some stats while you were talking to because I want to go back to the point where you made about Rex Ryan and LaShawn McCoy, where back when the Jets did go to those 2 AFC Championship games, they ran the ball really well. Last year, just a kind of base number, Buffalo finished 25th in the NFL with total rushing yards at almost 1,500 if we round it up. It was 1,482.
And that's Fred Jackson that was leading that, I believe.
If we go back to the 2009-2010 Jet teams that Rex Ryan helped lead to the AFC Championship games, in 2009, they led the league with 2,756 yards. Also, they were tied for 3rd most touchdowns, rushing touchdowns, with 21, and they averaged 172.3 yards per game, which was the most in the NFL that season. If we go to 2010, they were still a top 5 rushing team at 2374. They had 14 touchdowns, so a little bit of a drop-off, but they were still averaging over almost 150 rushing yards a game.
Yeah, and that's hard to stop. It really is. But you do have...
That's the key to a Rex Ryan offense.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And that's going to be ground and pound, going to make it a little easier for the quarterbacks. But the team that's best suited to really stop that, of course, is the Miami Dolphins. And then with Tom Brady just throwing it above. So I still don't think much changes for the Bills. I still think they're going to be kind of middle of the road. Jets, of course, I still think are going to be on the bottom. They got some work to do. The Miami Dolphins, I don't think change too much either. I think pretty much everything about this stays the same. New England probably loses 1 or 2 more games than they did last season.
Well, because of the Brady suspension.
Exactly, and he'll be cold when he comes back and tries to play again.
However, though, the one thing, and this is just me getting this off my chest about the Brady suspension. Let's say he misses the first, it stays the same. He'll miss the first 4 games of the season. The Patriots can go 0-4 to start the season and win the Super Bowl. Because guess what? They did that last year.
Yeah. And they got to come back then, of course, and play Andrew Luck at
They could even go 0-5 and still win the Super Bowl.
So there's
Let's
definitely some potential there.
Tom Brady is freaking Tom Brady.
And we don't want to. We're probably not going to get into schedules too much, but we'll probably leave after that to Tom Brady comes back, excluding Andrew Luck, it's an easy part. It's an easy part of your schedule. Easier part of your schedule, I should say.
See, but the one thing schedule-wise I do want to get into, maybe not in depth of this plays this, but just overall, the most important thing when you look at any division is who's going to win most of the divisional games. And the team I look at to kind of win a few more divisional contests are the Miami Dolphins. Because, like I said, to me, they're the most intriguing team in this division because I always have felt like for a while it was Buffalo was okay, we're kind of that second team right behind the miraculous Tom Brady and Bill Belichick Patriots. But now it's kind of you can even put the Dolphins maybe as that second team. And you add the pieces, like we said, Jordan Cameron, Greg Jennings giving Ryan Tannehill something to throw to, Ndamukong Suh on the defensive end. Now you got to do something with it. Tannehill has a new contract. Ryan Tannehill needs to prove to the NFL, I can do this. I can make the playoffs.
And an interesting thing with the Dolphins is they split every series in their division last year.
They went 8-8.
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, they're exactly. They're right in the middle here, but they split all these. I think, honestly, I don't know if much changes. I think they can win both against the Jets because I don't think the Jets have an answer for the Dolphins' defense. I don't necessarily know if they'll win both against Buffalo because I think Buffalo will start to kind of pull some things together. I think it'll take a little bit of time, but fortunately, they have an early game, which the Dolphins will probably win, and then they have a later game, kind of mid-season here, week 9, that the Buffalo Bills can actually pull out that one. So I think not too much changes. So I mean, I don't know. That's kind of my summary for this whole thing. I think maybe besides the Jets, every team has gotten better. But with every team getting better, everything kind of stays the same because every team got equally better.
Well, I mean, the only thing I'm looking at their schedule from last year, this is the Dolphins, and the one thing, the big change I see is instead of maybe a 3-3 divisional schedule, they're 4-2 this upcoming year. Because I look at that Jet game at the end of the year, week 17, that they lost 37-24, and if I remember correctly, that was just a game where it was like, I want to say it was when you're in the playoffs, lose and you're out, and the Jets just came to play. This year, I feel like the Dolphins say, hey, you know what? We got to man up a little bit. We now got Ndamukong Suh to beef up our defense. They do beat the Jets twice. They split between the Bills and the Patriots. They go 4-2 in the division. Maybe go 9-7. Maybe make the playoffs.
Yeah. Which is, I think we have pretty much similar predictions for this one. With the Miami Dolphins kind of taking up a little bit, the Buffalo Bills basically staying the same. I really don't think too much changes for these teams. Like I said, expect more of the same. But like I said, I do believe every team, and I will throw the Jets in with this one, I do think every team is getting better right now. Of course, maybe you want to say the Patriots are about the same, because really how much better do you get than winning a Super Bowl? Maybe not waiting till the very last game to win it. Maybe that's a little bit better. But yeah, I mean that's my main prediction. Do you think? I want to kind of talk about some of these conference records here.
Okay.
For the other teams, do you think much changes for, say, the Buffalo Bills or the New York Jets?
Let me look at there from last season. Maybe the Bills swap with the Dolphins. Mm-hmm. Dolphins are 4-2. Bills are 3-3. The Jets, though, they're maybe a 1-2 win team. They may win. Like their only win came week 17 against the Dolphins last season. They may
for the Jets.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking in the conference.
Yeah, no, in the division.
Yeah, in the division. That's correct.
They only won that one game. They may be able to squeak one out against the Bills, but probably not likely. Maybe I'll even say maybe even a 0-0 at the worst, probably 0-1, 2 at the absolute highest. That's if you're being like totally pie in the sky optimistic.
Yeah.
2 division wins.
Yeah, I do believe that they have an opportunity to beat either the Bills or the Dolphins. For me, it's just not. It's not promising. There's just too many questions. And for the Jets, when you really look at their depth chart, your problem that you see right away is Ryan Fitzpatrick, Geno Smith. Ryan Fitzpatrick's nothing to be excited about. He's another one as Castle as well. Although the Jets do have Brandon Marshall, something to actually be excited about, and Eric Decker, something to be kind of excited about. When you have a guy like Geno Smith, that's not good. I mean, Geno Smith will not get the ball to these guys. Fitzpatrick will get the ball to these guys, but you're not going to see anything flashy. You're not going to see anything exciting. I mean, is Bryce Petty going to end up starting this season? Honestly, he might. And
Towards the end.
I've said before, I don't even know. I think he might in the middle. I mean, when the Jets are 0-6 and Geno Smith lost his job week 1, like, do you really think there's much of a reason not to start Bryce Petty?
He's not going to lose his job week 1. Here's
Geno
the
Smith.
Good thing.
I think he should lose it in the offseason.
Here's the good thing for Jet fans, and I say good thing even though it's not the most optimistic thing to say. If you're a Jet fan, let's have a little bit of a conversation here. Level with me. You're not going to make the playoffs. You know this. I know this. I know in the offseason we all get this optimistic just level of like,
16-0.
ooh, we
Yeah.
can all make the playoffs. I mean, I made a bet with Mark last week that the Patriots or that the Vikings would make the playoffs. That they will.
They won't.
They will. But with the Jets, you want Geno Smith to start all these games because it's going to give you a good draft pick for head coach Todd Bowles to draft a defensive player that he can use to boost up his defense. Also, it gives Bryce Petty an entire season to not even worry about starting games, transition over from a spread quarterback to a pro-style quarterback. That, I think, is the master plan of Geno Smith is our starter. If injury happens or if we have to replace him mid-season, that's where Fitzpatrick comes in. Bryce Petty sits because Bryce Petty is not ready to play in the NFL because he needs to transition from the Baylor spread to NFL.
I honestly want to ask this question.
Go ahead.
For Jets fans especially, is there even a reason that you think you guys should keep Geno Smith? But
This is his last season, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not. I think because when you look at the roster, you only got spots for 53 guys. And I know you guys aren't going to be that great, so probably you can afford to have 3 quarterbacks coming in.
Oh, you're going to keep him for this season.
But NFL teams don't like to have 3 quarterbacks. So do you think Bryce Petty will make it to your practice squad? Will he get past waivers? I don't think so. He's actually promising. So you can't try and stash him. So that way you have to go in with 3 quarterbacks, and I don't think that's worth it. I really don't.
Here's my take. You know what position's going to get cut down a little bit? Look at that running back position.
Oh, yeah.
They got Ivory, Ridley, Powell, and Stacy. Those are 4 guys who sometime within the last few years have been starters. And I mean, I believe Ivory was your starter last year. Ridley was starting some games for the Patriots. Stacy started in St. Louis before Trey Mason came in. What do you do? What do you do with that backfield? To me, is the bigger question.
Well,
than
the backfield is basically
because the quarterbacks. I think you keep Smith, Fitzpatrick, and Petty.
I just don't think you had the room. And when my thing about Geno Smith, and I won't belabor the point too much, is that in 1 or 2 years he's gone. At least Ryan Fitzpatrick can survive the season and win a game or 2. I don't think Geno Smith wins you a game or 2.
The reason why they keep 3 is to make sure Bryce Petty does not have to play an NFL game this season.
But
so like I said, he can transition.
The one thing I will say, 2 things. One, no one's going to pick up Geno Smith. You can get rid of him and he's going to be there if you need him. But
he's going to be like Vince Young.
Let's say week 10, Geno Smith, he got cut in the offseason. It happened. Ryan Fitzpatrick, week 10, past the trade deadline, he's gone. He's hurt. He's out for the season. If you really don't want Bryce Petty to start,
you re-sign Geno?
Or somebody else. There's going to be a journeyman who's out there. Matt Flynn still doesn't have a deal. I mean, yeah, you're not gonna be able to do much out of him. But week 10, Jets, you guys are gonna be out of the playoffs anyways.
I'm a 3 quarterback guy anyways. Call me old fashioned.
There's just in today's NFL, there's just not a good reason to have 3 quarterbacks on your roster.
See, I'm a 3 quarterback guy.
And right now, I mean, we look at this team, like you mentioned the running backs, there's 4 running backs, there's like 8 wide receivers, 4 tight ends. You're not going to keep all these guys. I mean, what do they have, like 15, 16 guys on the offensive line too? This is the offseason. You just stash as many players as you can get right now.
They have a ton of wide receivers, a ton of tight ends. And I mean, the one thing and this is why I think this may be Geno Smith's do or die season, is you've got the receivers to go out there and do something. The Jets went out there and said, hey, wait a second. The Bears are getting rid of Brandon Marshall. We're snabbing him. You have Eric Decker, who, I mean, yeah, he did things in Denver. I mean, you could say that's because of Peyton Manning.
Yeah.
However, they do have Cumberland's a nice target. Amaro's a good young tight end that they can use. Sudfeld had some success with Detroit.
The one thing I want to ask you real quick about to kind of end this quarterback discussion, what week does Geno Smith lose his job?
He doesn't.
You think he plays the whole season? I mean, excluding injury. We're saying he's healthy all season.
If he's... I don't think it matters. Like, I don't think it matters if he plays the entire season or not, because the Jets aren't going to be good.
Put a number on
the
it,
future's
though.
Bryce Petty.
If he
week
loses,
15.
Week 15? For me, I'm saying like week 5. I don't think he lasts long
Week
at all.
15, because, I mean, I'm telling you, Jets fans, you're going to want a top 5 pick.
Oh, yeah,
You're
for
going
sure.
to want a defensive player to boost up. Trust me, I know. This was me when we hired when we hired Mike Zimmer. You need a guy who he came in, drafted Anthony Barr. I want to say we were the 10th pick, maybe the 11th, I think, that year. Drafted Anthony Barr. We were the 10th pick then this year. Got a cornerback to come in, and we got Trey Waynes coming in, hopefully boosting up our defense. We made a trade, got Teddy Bridgewater. Hopefully Todd Boyles can do the same thing for the Jets.
I know nobody cares right now, but
Okay.
I want to correct myself on something I said earlier. I was referring to Matt Castle being back on the Bills.
Yes.
I was thinking of Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yes.
Just wanted to correct myself on that. I know Matt Castle has never played on the Bills.
Also, another receiver, I didn't say his name until I double-checked. They got a wide receiver in the second round, Devin Smith, who
did.
won a national championship in college this past season.
And he's definitely a guy who can be kind of that reliable 3. Probably, your safety blanket, because Brandon Marshall's number 1.
He's a speed guy.
Yeah.
He's a speed guy.
Exactly.
You can fit him in the slot, put him on the outside.
Decker's your number 2. Smith should be a good
your 3, maybe Curley your 4.
Yeah, because, I mean, yes, you could just put him out on the very far side of the sideline, just go that way.
Yeah.
Just point towards the end zone and
he's
let
the
him go.
type of guy where you either get him the ball, middle of the field, and he can run with it, or, like you said, just say, run straight.
Because you will see a lot of Brandon Marshall playing the slot, I think. That actually works out really well for Brandon Marshall because he's so big. You can't stop him.
Do you think Bowles is kind of going to use Marshall a little bit like they used Larry Fitzgerald in Arizona, where because he was a bigger receiver, he, instead of going up, grabbing it deep, hey, I'm going to use you in the slant, and you're going to use your body to get in front of defenders.
I think that's what they would prefer at this point. Brandon Marshall's a little bit older. So, and of course,
how does Brandon
having Smith, you don't need him to go deep as often.
How does Brandon function without his butt buddy Jay Cutler?
I think he will. I think he'll definitely miss his friend, but he's played without Jay Cutler before. He'll be fine.
Yeah, but we know.
Well, the problem is he doesn't have a good quarterback.
He's been
got Geno
happier
Smith.
since he's been in Chicago. It's been a lot happier since he's been in Chicago.
And a lot has changed in Brandon Marshall's life, so I think he's going to be just A-okay. But with that being said, he's not a young guy anymore. I mean, that's one of the big reasons why Chicago said goodbye to him and was so willing to say goodbye to him. But I believe he's 31. So I mean, we will probably be seeing a bit of the downhill slide on Brandon Marshall at this point. Part of it because of the quarterback situation, but a lot of it too is just kind of, I think they're going to diminish the role a little bit.
Okay, I want to get to a question that you mentioned before we even hit the record button because I liked it so much. Looking at, we can take in draft classes for sure and free agency, of course, but looking at the new additions for each team in the AFC East, who had the best offseason? I'm going to take this one first, Mark. And the things you got to look at, if you look at the Jets, their free agency class is they signed a ton of free agents. Like you said, maybe a lot of them were to fill up some spots just to be going into offseason. Just take everything, you hoard everything, and then, okay, let's just get rid of all the extra weight. But it is headlined with cornerbacks Darrelle Revis, Antonio Cromartie.
Yeah.
That's what it's had, getting Revis from New England, Cromartie from Arizona. Cromartie comes over with his defensive coordinator to New York. So you already have that connection. Cromartie and Revis could be, Revis is almost 30. Cromartie's 31. That could pose a problem, but virtually they're good cornerbacks. The Jets draft class, of course, they got Leonard Williams, who I thought was a steal at the 6th overall pick. Devin Smith in the 2nd, Bryce Petty were the headliners from their draft. The Dolphins, Ndamukong Suh, Cameron Jennings, Louis Delmas were their huge free agent pickups. I think the Dolphins were the winners because I mentioned those free agents. You look at their draft class, I mean, yeah, they got Devonta Parker, they got Jordan Phillips in the first 2 rounds, but just Parker, Jennings, Cameron. You just gave Tannehill 3 weapons. And to me, I'm calling this for the Dolphins. And I'm going to say this because in our videos, I believe you have the preview for the Dolphins, so I won't be able to voice my opinion on this. In Miami, this is the year of the Tannehills. How is Ryan Tannehill going to perform? So to me, I feel like they had the best free agency, giving him everything that he needed to kind of succeed. And then you have Buffalo, where, I mean, they didn't have a ton of free agents. Yeah, they got Percy Harvin. Yeah, they got Charles Clay. And then ahead, going in the draft, yeah, they didn't have a first-round pick, and they kind of just filled in what they needed. Didn't have a knockout anything. What do you think?
For me, it's all about the Miami Dolphins. It really is. I mean, Ndamukong Suh is huge. Jordan Cameron's great. I'm not even going to talk about Greg Jennings because what's the point? I don't think Greg Jennings is going to be anything to this team. He does kind of
He's a veteran. That's the main thing he's going to poise.
He gets a little bit of a default because, I mean, when you look at the depth chart, it's Devonta Parker and Stills. Basically, that's it. That's everything that's out there. So he will be out there. He will be playing. He won't do anything worthwhile. You're familiar with it from him.
I forgot they traded for Kenny
Minnesota.
Stills, too.
Yep. Exactly. So that is something. Nothing exciting, but it's something. Now, of course, the thing that I think is great and I'm excited to talk about, even though this is a little risky here when it comes to the Dolphins, LaMichael James. This is a guy who did not get his fair shot in San Francisco.
I was just going to bring him up,
and he has so much promise and potential as like a specific kind of player, as just get the ball in his hands, let him run around.
I hope he's the second back.
I want him to be, or at least
I hope he
change his position to wide receiver and Randall Cobb him.
Kind of like, well, not just that. Think of another ex-Oregon player, DeAnthony Thomas in Kansas City, where right now they're like, he's more of a wide receiver than he is a running back.
Exactly.
I mean, he kind of was both at Oregon, but in Oregon, you're not a running back or a wide receiver. You're a
athlete,
playmaker. Yeah, you're an athlete.
I think that's what you have to look at with LaMichael James, and I think something that San Francisco didn't do. They wanted him to be a running back, and this is just a guy who you just put the ball in his hands when he moved like 3 feet. Give him screens. Give him quick little slants. Toss the ball out to him. Do something to where you can just let him make plays, because he is a speedster. He is a playmaker. He is a guy who has a chip on his shoulder right now because he hasn't gotten his fair shot. And I think of anything on this Miami Dolphins team, LaMichael James has all the potential to surprise everybody.
And I know right now, I'm going to go ahead and say this, is we're about at the 33-minute mark. If you're sitting there and you're a New England fan or you're in the Boston area and you've made it this far.
You guys won a Super Bowl. Calm down.
You're sitting there going, Ricky, Mark, I can't sit here any longer without you talking about my team. Yeah, you mentioned we won a Super Bowl. Good and great. But what gives? And, I mean, just to kind of throw the Patriots into the discussion here, because I feel like we've neglected them a bit in this podcast. Free agency, I look at their free agents, and I don't see anything that jumps off the page. The one guy that jumped off the page, you just released in Brandon Spikes.
Yeah, which is
earlier this week.
A little confusing to me. I was excited for the Patriots getting Spikes.
It had all to do with that car crash.
Yeah.
That hit and run that we saw pictures from. But I mean, you also look at their draft, and yeah, they had a lot of draft picks. They did the big Bill Belichick way, but
of course,
the only guy I'm excited for is, I guess, Malcolm Brown, their first pick. But really, that was just we're going to end the first round. Here's Malcolm Brown.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they definitely...
we lost Vince Wilfork. Guess we're going to take a defensive tackle.
The thing about the Patriots are going to Patriot. And, that's all it comes down to. They're going to win.
Patriot way.
They're getting at least 10 wins. You've heard me before say, maybe it's time to move on from Tom Brady. Let's see how Jimmy Garoppolo does.
I will say, I hope Garoppolo does well. Maybe it's
I want to
just
see him go 4-0.
Maybe it's just the Illinois fanboy in me, but I want to see him do well. I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I think he's got a great head on his shoulder.
I'll be honest with this. This is a little biased as us, being podcasters here. I really want to see him go 4-0 because I want to have that discussion week 5.
So you want us to have that podcast week 5 of should it be Garoppolo time in New England? I can just see it now. The headline goes Garoppolo time in New England ?
And the answer is yes. Well, we'll see. We'll see how he plays. I mean, for you guys out there, if you're a New England Patriot fan, you're excited because you guys are going to win this again. No doubt about it. You guys are going to be right in the conversation as you always are. Jimmy Garoppolo's going to be very promising for the future.
One of the only teams that's going to give you fits in the playoffs will be the Colts.
Yeah.
Because I think Peyton Manning's on the way out.
Yeah, Peyton Manning, I think, we can all agree that it's been a good career. He's the guy who's got to hang it up first between all these older quarterbacks. So he should probably be on his way out soon. Tom Brady for me, probably, honestly, I would love to see. I know he wants to play till he's 50, whatever he says now. But I would love to see.
I thought it was 100.
It probably is.
I thought he wanted to play the Brett Favre system, play until I'm dead.
I want to see a one last ride. You know what I would love out of both these guys?
A Tom's last ride?
Yeah, I would love to see them at the beginning, like before the season starts, say, this is it. This is my last season. And then just go historic on us. Just go legendary and just unleash everything you have in this last season. I would love to see it. You know what I would love to see the most out of this? Both of them do it in the same year. Peyton Manning, Tom Brady both come out and say, this is my last season. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to do it. I want to see them battle it out for which one is the best. We all know it's Tom Brady, but which one is the best?
Yeah, we all know it's Tom Brady. We don't have to have that kind of discussion, but really, that's what you want to see?
I would love to see it. How cool would it be to have both these guys? I mean, that's the thing about a lot of these sports you don't get too often. You don't get the guy who goes out there and says, no matter what, this is it. I'm putting it all on the field right now. They might think it in their head, but you have them wait until the end when they can see how the season played out and they can make a decision based on their legacy. No, go out there, put it on the line, say this is it. Here, ride or die.
I'm going to ask you a question because I honestly cannot remember the answer to this. This is an NBA Bulls type question.
Oh, okay.
Before I make this comparison. Before the 97-98 season, which would have been our last championship, did Jordan say at the beginning of the season, this is it?
I doubt it.
Or did he say it afterwards and he said, you know what, this is it?
I honestly don't know. I
want to say it was after, but to me, that's what I'd like to see. I don't necessarily need to see at the beginning, this is it, but I want to see out of it, especially Tom Brady, the year before he retires, MVP, Super Bowl MVP, Patriots just wipe the floor with whoever they're with, and Tom Brady rides into the sunset. Just, to me, maybe it's because we're from Chicago, and I see it the Michael Jordan way, how it should have been, where it's like, you win a championship, you retire. Yeah. That's what all the great Hall of Famers should experience. That's what I wanted to see Brett Favre do. Win a championship and retire.
Yeah, and what did he do instead?
Go out on top.
No, he didn't do that. He threw an interception.
Yeah.
That's what he did. He threw an interception, then he got hit by Henry Melton or whoever it was.
Let's not talk about that game because cheaters kept me out of my Super Bowl.
As we talk about Tom Brady and the Patriots.
Cheaters kept me out of my Super Bowl. And Andrew Luck is saying, Ricky, cheaters kept me out of my Super Bowl.
And we're sitting there going, score more than 7 points.
Yeah, the offense doesn't keep you from scoring points, Andrew.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, I mean, let's just do, I think we're getting towards the end, so I want to do just by team name. You don't have to have you don't have to have like the what do you call it? The record picked out. But what do you see? Like what's the high, what's the low on these guys?
What do you mean? For division winners?
No, I would say like, for example, for the Patriots, I'm guessing anywhere between 10 and 14. Something like that.
10 and above.
10 and up. I can agree with 10 and up.
10 and up. Then you'll have the Dolphins between 8 at the least, probably 8 or 9, maybe 10 if we're thinking pie in the sky.
Yeah, I would say that they're probably about 9.
Then I would put the Bills at 3rd, maybe 5 at the lowest, 8 at the most, and then Jets probably 3-win team at the most at the end.
I can definitely agree with that. I think Jets are definitely in the run, and not because I think the team is a miserable pile of garbage. I just think that they are a rebuilding team, and this is part of the process.
Yep, this is how it's going to be.
Yep.
Is there anything else? Who do you think?
Get rid of Geno Smith. That's the last thing I want to say. Get rid of him in the offseason.
Out of what we just did, we're both in agreement that the Patriots are going to win the division.
Yes.
If our standings hold, Patriots, Dolphins, Bills, Jets, do the Dolphins make the wild card?
It is the AFC, because
last year
it wasn't as competitive.
Last year we had the AFC North have 3 teams go.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with this. I think that they are competing. I don't necessarily think that they get in. And one of the big reasons why I don't think they get in, San Diego, Indianapolis, New England. That's how they end their season.
You can't forget Kansas City.
No, I'm saying that's how they end their season. They play those 3 teams.
I'm talking about these are teams that are going to rival them at least for a wild card spot. San Diego, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Baltimore.
Oh yeah, for sure. And
you got to beat at least 3 of those teams.
And it's a problem for them because those last 3 games are so tough, so they get on a skid.
Yep.
That's pretty much how it goes. And then I think that's what bumps them out. I think they're looking pretty week 13, week 14, 15, 16, 17. It's going to be goodbye.
You have to finish the season off strong for the Miami Dolphins. Mm-hmm. That's key. But I would like to see the Dolphins right there as the 6th seed.
What you do is you hope that Indianapolis and New England have both already won like 13 games at this point, and they're just sitting everybody at this point so you can sneak those wins out.
But that is going to do it for the Onside Kick this week. This was our AFC East 2015 preview, getting ready for the NFL season. From now until the beginning of August, we're going to be going right through each division. Next week, just so you guys can get prepared for it, it'll be the NFC East. We're going to stay in the East, go over to the NFC. I want you guys right now, if you like the podcast, hit the like button. If you loved it, hit the subscribe button. Anything that we talked about today, go ahead and leave us a comment in the comment section. Do you love what we talked about? Do you hate us? We love to hear everything from you guys. Also, if you want to be like Tony Reale and tell us where we screwed up, go ahead and do that as well. I want to thank everyone to listening to this podcast. Go ahead and check out our other great podcasts, A Graphic Conversation and the Prime Time Podcast on our SoundCloud or YouTube channels. And as always, have a good day, everybody.
Thank you for listening to this MVP podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Most Valuable Pod for more great podcasts.